Welcome in. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. On today's show, we are talking all about Michael Penix Jr., the Washington Huskies quarterback. Could he stay in Seattle and be the next quarterback for your Seattle Seahawks? We'll break down his chances of being selected by your Seattle Seahawks. Before we get to that, a reminder, coming up Monday night, we will be live right here on Seahawks Today for our Washington versus Michigan College Football Playoff National Championship watch party. Our coverage begins 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It is going to be a fantastic game. We are going to be rooting on the dogs here together on the channel. You won't want to miss out on it. We're going to do it Seahawks style on the channel, but we're going to be openly rooting for your Washington Huskies. So join us coming up Monday night live right here on Seahawks Today for Washington versus Michigan. Michael Penix Jr. helped lead the Huskies to a perfect 14-0 record. They won the Pac-12 title, the final Pac-12 title ever. Also earned a spot in the College Football Playoff and in the National Championship game. And quite the story, a guy that originally had committed to the University of Tennessee. And Jeremy Pruitt, the head coach, pulls his scholarship offer, ends up at Indiana, was pretty good at Indiana, got hurt, dealt with some injuries, ends up transferring to Washington, wins the Comeback Player of the Year award in 2022, and then was a Heisman finalist this year. And the scouting report on Michael Penix, there's a few things that stand out. Excellent decision maker. Michael Penix does a really good job of taking care of the football and distributing it where it needs to go. He dissects defenses well in pre-snap, does a really good job of reading those defenses, very high football IQ, solid accuracy when it comes to those decisions that he makes. His footwork is subtle in the pocket, and he kind of lacks plus arm strength. You're not going to see Michael Penix throwing 80-yard bombs, but he can still make the throws that he needs to make. And when I was watching the All-State Sugar Bowl the other night, the big thing that I saw from Michael Penix Jr. that showed his maturity, and I would say one of his biggest strengths as a quarterback, was that he was able to put the football where only his receiver could get it. Either it was going to be incomplete or it was going to be a big play. And to me, that's a huge sign for a quarterback, especially at that next level. I know that the throwing motion, it might look a little off to the eye with him being a lefty and all that, but don't worry, folks. Michael Penix Jr., his football IQ is there, that connection with his receivers. The numbers this season were very good. You include the numbers from this past weekend in the Sugar Bowl. He's got 35 touchdowns on the year, 9 picks, over 4,600 yards, 65% completion percentage. Very good from Michael Penix. And in that game against Texas, and I would say the same thing about what he did against Oregon in the Pac-12 title game, just complete command of the offense. Michael Penix was in control of what that offense was going to do. Over 400 yards passing. Texas's defense really just had no answer, and Michael Penix was really able to do whatever he wanted. And so we got more on Michael Penix that we're going to get to here in just a second, but I want to ask you guys our pinned comment first. Should the Seahawks draft Michael Penix Jr.? Y for yes, N for no. Should he be the next quarterback for your Seattle Seahawks? Weigh in the comment section and tell us what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets for the lowest prices guaranteed. Now, the Seahawks home games may be over now, but that doesn't mean that you still can't get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed to other sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more. Maybe you want to go see the Seattle Kraken play this weekend. You can do so with Game Time. Pick the event you want to go to. Prices are all listed. Then you get to see the seat that you could be potentially sitting in. They got the flash deals as well that might be a deal you just simply can't pass up on. Then from there, you're checking out within a matter of moments just like that, and it's real simple to use. Apple Pay, Google Pay, you can download your tickets in just a matter of moments. Last-minute tickets, this is the place to do so. Promo code SeahawksChat. Get $20 off on your first purchase. Terms and conditions do apply. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Check out Game Time. Download it today. $20 off. Game Time, proud partner of Seahawks Today and Chat Sports. Download Game Time now. If the draft were to start today, at the time of this recording, the Seahawks would hold the number 15 overall pick in the draft. And based on the different mocks that are out there, they would be right in the hunt to pursue Michael Penix Jr. Here's some mock drafts and some projections to some of the teams that are out there from some of the various different news sites. Sporting News right now has Penix Jr. projected to go 14th to the LA Rams. Pro Football Network has Penix to go to Tampa Bay at 20. CBS Sports Network is projecting Penix to go to the Raiders at 11. The 33rd team has Penix at 19 going to Tampa Bay. And then Bleacher Report has Penix going 6th overall to the Atlanta Falcons. So in that range, Penix is around potentially for the Seattle Seahawks team. Now, then as we scout him more and wonder who he compares to, there was one that really stood out that I thought was a very interesting comparison, and that is Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. And I got to tell you, I like what I've seen from Tua the last couple of years. And when you look at the play between these two quarterbacks, it's pretty simple. In fact, Joe Klatt, who does an incredible job covering college football for Fox Sports, one of the best analysts in the country, he put some context to this of comparing both Penix to Tua, and this is what Klatt had to say. He does everything well. His game translates incredibly well to the next level. Look at the throws he makes. He's like a stronger, more powerful version of Tua. Now, is he as good as Tua? I'm not sure. Maybe. He's certainly got that potential because he certainly has more power in his delivery as a passer and his accuracy and his ability to have downfield accuracy and downfield timing. With Michael Penix, it is on target and on time, and this is what allows him to be as good of a downfield passer as we've seen in college football in a long time. So, very big compliments there from Joel Klatt, comparing him to Tua. Look, I would take Tua right now. You're going to tell me I get a younger, stronger version of Tua? I'll sign up for that. And you look at this weekend, going up against the Michigan Wolverines. This is going to be his toughest test yet. This is the number one defense in college football. They are so physical, this Michigan Wolverine team is, especially in the trenches. We're going to really see what Michael Penix Jr. is all about when he faces this Michigan defense, how stingy they are, and with the talent that they bring to the table, this could be a problem for what Penix is about to face. And as I look at Michael Penix Jr., and we continue to scout him and give our analysis on him further, here's my two biggest concerns. Number one, is he a byproduct of the great talent around him? Because when you look at Odunze and Polk and those guys, that's NFL receivers that he's got with the Washington Huskies. Think about Mac Jones a couple years ago with the Alabama Crimson Tide, when he got to play with Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle and all those guys, and then he goes up to the New England Patriots, all of a sudden doesn't have those weapons, and he looks like a shrimp. I mean, is it Penix? Is it the talent around him, or is it a little bit of both? I don't know. That's a credit to Washington for the talent that's there, though. Number two, since the ACL injury and all that, he doesn't have the mobility he once had. He can escape, but it's when he can throw on the run, right? He's not going to run for 50 or 60 yards in a game. That's not his game. And he does have that significant injury history. So will that be a problem? Will that catch up to him? Those are my two big concerns. But that doesn't stop me from still wanting him in Seattle. I would love him to be the next Seattle Seahawks quarterback, and I know you do too. So let's start the movement right now here on Seahawks Today. Spam P to C in the comments section. This is going to be our rallying cry, our calling card over the next few months up until the NFL draft. We're going to do our part to keep Michael Penix in Seattle and be the next quarterback of your Seattle Seahawks. Spam Pete to see in the comments section. Now the Geno Smith factor. Seahawks have a team option on Geno. Nothing guaranteed after this season. And so then what do you do with Geno Smith? The truth of the matter is that Geno was never the long-term solution for the Seahawks. He was always a stopgap quarterback after what we saw from Russell Wilson, right? And he's done a very good job of being the stopgap quarterback. When you look at this draft, whether it's Michael Penix Jr. or some of these other quarterbacks, this is a golden opportunity for the Seattle Seahawks to find their next quarterback of the future. And you could have a situation where you bring Geno back, you have a quarterback that sits behind him, and then once they're ready to take over, they get the job. Maybe Geno does something similar to what we saw with Alex Smith, with what he did with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, or what Aaron Rodgers did with Jordan Love in Green Bay. We've seen that's still the best recipe for success. But I am A-okay with saying, you know what, Geno, we appreciate you, what you did for this franchise. You meant a lot to us, but it's time to go a new direction and go with a guy like Michael Penix Jr. What do you think? Who's more likely to be next year's quarterback? Would you rather have Geno or would you rather have Michael Penix Jr.? Type G for Geno, M for Michael Penix Jr. Let me know which quarterback you'd rather have next year. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seahawks Today. For daily Seattle Seahawks coverage, subscribe now for free and don't miss out right here on Seahawks Today.